Welcome back to another powerful episode of Healthy Mind, Healthy Life. I'm your host Avik, and today we are diving into a conversation that so many of us desperately need. It's very important, like how to regulate our emotions, how to remind ourselves that we are not our thoughts, and at the same time, how to instantly calm down our nervous system when life feels like overwhelming. Yeah, right? I guess most of you are nodding your heads, right? So, yeah. Yes, dear listeners, today my guest is someone who embodies both the resilience and the transformation. So, please welcome Camilla Calberg. So, welcome to the show, Camilla.
Thank you very much, Savin. Avik. I've been looking forward to this conversation, and I can't wait to see and experience what is going to unfold when we're in room together.
Amazing, definitely. And dear listeners, as you know, I always introduce you with my lovely guest to with all of you. So I'd love to introduce you with Camilla. So, Camilla is an internationally recognized coach, speaker, and the founder of the Authentic Leadership Movement. Yes. So, she's guided hundreds of women into soul led careers and next level leadership while also drawing from her own personal journey of rising from psychological abuse, rebuilding her life, and turning pain into power. Yeah. So she has led multi-million dollar transformation programs for the Fortune 500 companies and is the creator of the 3I framework, which is influence, innovative, inspire. So uh, when she walks into a room, shoulders drop and truths rise. Yes. So I'll not take much of your time, dear listeners. Let's get into the discussion with one and only Camila. So, Camila, it's really, really a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, Avik. And what an amazing introduction and, well, well said. Yeah. Life experience has turned into a life's calling. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. That's really means a lot. And so, I mean, you often remind people that you are not your thoughts. I mean, and that's a really a powerful statement. I mean, uh, but for someone who is got into a storm of self doubt, or maybe you can say anxiety, it can feel nearly impossible to separate from those thoughts. So, from this perspective, I mean, if you can share a practical tool or maybe exercise that helps people anchor themselves in that truth when the mind is kind of racing.
Mm. Oh, I love that. And it's so important. I don't know if you know how important that is, but I think all your listeners and I think everyone on this planet can relate to that. When we when we feel our thoughts and we feel our feelings and we believe our thoughts. Um, Before I share, my body's responding now because it's so deep. But before I give the tool or share the tool and the exercise, if I may just super short
Yeah.
share how I was, my thoughts, and what I did. Because then when people are joining that journey, they can see that actually I was there as well. And if I can do it, everyone else can do it. So for most of my life, and it's so vulnerable, but I said that it's my mission also to share where I was.
Mm.
And I still work on my thoughts every day. But I was feeling less than. I in my upbringing, there was a lot of respect for authorities. So whatever authority there was, people with higher titles has also impacted me. In corporate, even though I got really high up with VP Shell and IBM.
Mm.
Um, but every time then when I went in a room where people were more dominant or have a bigger title, I was subconsciously telling myself that I'm not good enough. If they mean something or say that we go that way, okay, let's just do it because she wants to
Mm.
be right as she is right. And another thought could be so much like, "Ah, you missed it again, or you were not good enough." So I was really knocking myself on the head. And I I consumed my thoughts, and not unfortunate, it wasn't the good thoughts, and it made me mentally sick. It was draining. I woke up exhausted because I went to bed at night with all these thoughts ruminating, and I just couldn't sleep well. And I was just so afraid that everything I did, and also based on what I've experienced, like, oh, do I do something right again? Like, always, do I have to get the approval for someone else? Because at that point in time, I wasn't greater than those who wanted control.
Yeah.
So I've been there, and I sometimes still walk and work with my thoughts. But I think we can all relate when we consume our thoughts. The thing is, and this is like so important, is that if the thoughts is just a thought,
Mm.
and we get to even when life is tough, we get to really be curious about what is it that I'm believing in right now. What is that story that I'm telling myself? And how true is that?
Mm.
And one thing that we forget is like, I don't know, for my body is so responding. It's like
Okay.
we forget of it to be our best cheerleaders.
Mm.
So we get to learn to love ourselves so much and say, okay, I do the best and I show up as with my highest capacity,
Mm.
with my higher self, with the best attention. And when we show up like that, then we can only do the best. And whatever, there was someone I meant to said the other day, was really good, like analogy. Like if you come in with a thought and that thought it doesn't set you up for success, then put that thought back on the shelf and then pick another thought.
Exactly.
And the tools I use, and I actually very recently did a video on that, because that of being a victim of your thoughts is so important, and also a victim of other people's thoughts and lower level frequency,
Yeah.
is really to pause. And the first thing, there's a few things. The first thing is sometimes, depends on how heavy that thought is, but sometimes you don't realize what the thought is, that subconscious thought that you believe to be true. But your body is the feeling is the language of the body, and sometimes you will fall ill, the sick, the flu symptoms, da 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 da, toothache. And what I do when I get these symptoms, I pause.
Mm.
I say, what is going on in my body? And I'm curious, I'm asking my body, what thought am I believing to be true right now?
Yes.
If my body's not that heavily impacted by my thoughts,
Mm.
but I'm leaking energy. Leaking energy is that when I'm exhausted, when I'm tired, when I'm anxious,
Mhm.
when I can't relax, when I can't sleep. There's a few things I do. First thing is, what is it that what stories am I telling myself right now?
Yeah.
That's the very first thing. And I sit with this, and I also sit with this, right? Because as you, I'm on my next level. I'm always on my growth. And why don't I, for example, if I was going to reach out to people on LinkedIn,
Mm.
like why is it that I'm not one to reach out to that person? What is my intuition telling me? Or do I, because of the picture, profile picture, do I feel less than or lower than? What's going on? I say, we're just peers. I always say, look behind the title, look behind the name. And I think that's what you, at least whether it was when went live or before, it's like it's so aligned. We're all souls in this world.
Yes.
And another thing is a very good tool is to dump your thoughts before you go to bed. It's a very simple tool, and it's a tool that I train my clients in.
Mm.
Before, if you have had a challenging day, or that's just your thoughts are just controlling you,
Mm.
dump your thoughts. every thought, because then you get it out of your body. And when you get things out of your body, you sleep well. If you go to bed with your thoughts,
Mm.
those thoughts is going to, you're going to sleep with those thoughts, and those thoughts are going to impact your mental health when you wake up the next day. And we don't want to do that. That's why it's so powerful to dump, really literally write your thoughts out of the body.
Exactly. Amazing. Wow. And I really love like how you connect the concept of um detachment with something tangible. And often people assume that calming that mind uh requires kind of hours of meditation, but what you are saying is it can be immediate and accessible. So uh, the change, I mean, it changes the game for so many listeners, I'd say. Yep. Yeah.
This is deep.
Yeah. Exactly. Whew. And emotions can feel like sometimes the waves, like something crashing, something gentle. Uh, and you talk about regulating the emotions rather than suppressing them. So, uh, according to you, like, what does healthy regulation actually look like in real life?
Mm. Healthy regulation, emotional regulations. So if we just do like a quick double down on emotions, feeling is emotion is a feeling in motion. That is why it's emotion. And I always like that's what I train my clients in.
Yeah.
We can have like Avik right now. We can talk about faith, love, and fear, right?
Okay.
Which just it just is faith, and love, and fear. We have no relationship with that. But when we either feel the faith or the love or the fear, can you feel it in your body?
Mm.
It's impacting you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why we are giving meaning to a feeling.
True.
And that very quickly way to I start now to call it upregulate or get
Mm.
back into coherence is that we oftentimes say, and I still catch myself self when I say to my daughter, I am tired, but then I'm feeling a
Mm.
feeling and allow it's a choice, right? I choose to feel a feeling. And then the question is that really how I want to show up in this moment with a higher level of awareness? So, healthy regulation, that's a couple of components I pull in. I
Mm.
catch myself when I say something, I am, because that's a statement from Bob
Yes.
Proctor or Neville Goddard. I am
Mm.
an affirmation, right?
Yeah.
We should only say, I am, an ending on a good note. I am happy. I am wealthy. I am abundance. If we say something that drains you, I am tired, I am sad,
Mm.
then it's time to pause and borrow my belief that if it's just a feeling, you are not that feeling. And that let that, I know I'm mixing it a bit, but I'm hopefully giving some tools to your audience as well.
Yeah.
Let that feeling travel through you. And when you sit with that tiredness, wow, I'm tired. Let it travel through you for 90 seconds,
Mm.
and it passes your body and your soul.
True.
And I was just let me just because so that was a mix of healthy regulation and why we want to
Mm.
upregulate our emotions is that we have a choice. And it was like if some of you out there listen to this or you're listening to this right now and said, this is so stupid, Camilla. Sorry. I get it because I've been there as well. It's like we all have a choice what to feel, what to say in every second of the waking hours. But
Exactly.
we have, when we're so consciously aware that we have a choice, we also have a choice whether we say, I am sad. Why do we allow ourselves to be entertaining a pity party? Why do we allow ourselves to be a victim of the emotions when actually the only person who has the power of your life is yourself?
Yes. Yes. Very true. Very, very true.
So in all this, of in this beautiful container, if we wrap it up, it's not just like, but it's
Mm.
we all are responsible for how we want and choose to show up in every single moment or minute, second of our day.
Understood.
And then if there's a feeling coming through to you, say be curious about, why do I want to be sad? Why do I want to be disappointed? Why?
Yes.
No, why do you choose to be disappointed? Is just see it as neutral, it says. And then
Mm.
be curious about, why do you need to feel that disappointment?
Yeah.
And then it's be curious about that and travel through. But this is work I do every day, so that my feelings, my lower level feelings, do not consume me. Because if we let them consume us, and we tested it out last year in my tribe when we were reading Worthy by, oh, I can't remember her name right now. Um, but it's a very good book about feelings as well. It can take you up to 3 days to fill your energy container. So practicing being aware of your feelings and how you label yourself will help you upregulate your emotions so much, like instantly. And the more reps you put in.
Yes. Ah. And so, like, any example you can share, like from your journey, where emotional regulation helped you shift from the pain into clarity?
Mm. Oh, I have many. But um, let me give you, and that is this so raw and it's so me, but it's also to share. And I think you mentioned that I've been in a psychological violent relationship, but when we now know and do the work by Dr. Joe Dispenza and all that, I was a match for that. But I didn't know I was a match. And I was been through a year-long court case. And in the beginning of that um, journey, which has now turned into really build my emotional resilience, I was so afraid. Let me just be that. I mean, I was so nervous. Even my body's responding now. So I was a victim of my emotions because I've given power. When we believe in that someone else has more power over you, that's what subconsciously giving away power to him. And even now, I know that is still something that I get to heal, right? Because I remember that. But because it's been going on for 4 years, now what I had no other choice but to choose to control my thoughts and control my feelings, because otherwise, I mean, I think I would have been here on this planet. But towards the end of this journey, I went into the last court case and I was in a courtroom and I was actually feeling so much better because I have built a coherence and say it just is. It just is a conversation. It was tough in the room. I cannot if I say something else, I would be lying. But I that's how I felt because I really started to control how I wanted to show up.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Makes sense. Definitely. I mean, it's so relatable because we are often taught to keep it together or kind of stay strong. But what you said, like, is the strength that comes from allowing the emotions to move through us and not bottling them up. So that I mean, this distinction is really very very strong feeling, I'd say. So um, definitely, yeah.
May I say something? May I?
Definitely, yeah, yeah.
And I'm so glad that you brought that reflection up or share that reflection because most of us
Mm.
had been taught just to stay strong. And that also means that indicates that we shouldn't feel our feelings.
Exactly.
But when we, and that's where that our next generation of us is to uh, break free from that mindset. And that mindset, probably because there's a lot of wars, and I know there's still s- people are struggling in different countries,
Mm.
but we can break free and honor our feelings, because if we don't honor our feelings, it will bottle up, or it will be that bottleneck, and at one point it's just going to explode.
Yes.
But then the thing is, as you started off our conversation, we are not our feelings. We feel the feelings, but we are not the feeling, and we are not the thought. And I think everything that starting with yeah, not but Proctor and Napoleon Hill, and now Dr. Joe Dispenza, and so many other people. We now know that we can control our thoughts and our feelings, and I think that's an amazing, beautiful evolution.
Exactly. Amazing. Wow. So like when we're talking about this, it's a very common word. It's stress. Like it often hijacks our nervous system before even we realize it also. So um what do you think are some of the instant strategies that people can use in the um middle of their tough meeting or in an argument or wherever they stuck in this traffic to calm their nervous system? So anything you want to share?
Mm, I love it. So it may it may provoke some people out there, my beliefs.
Okay.
But as we're talking about, we are it's a choice how we want to show up in every single moment of the day. And when we feel stressed, then we give in power away to something we cannot control.
True.
And then I would ask, why do you allow yourself to feel stressed? And so what's that? That's simply a question. But that question you can also ask yourself. Why do I choose to be stressed right now? Is this that it would my higher self choose that right now? I don't think she would, or he would. Another thing is also the language, I don't know. I think you know that, right? But that's it, the frequency of the words that we choose. And a very quick tool to remove stress or frustration and anxiety is just to see things for what it is.
Exactly.
There is no hard conversation. It just is a conversation. But if we use the word hard or difficult, can you feel your heart contracting? I
Mm.
can. And then the mind was focusing on making it hard. But when we release that, I can, as a bit of I can feel it in my body. This is just
Yeah.
is a conversation. My body responding.
Yeah.
It just is a conversation. And for me, that is a very quick test when to feel stressed and not stressed. When stress is in your body and not in your body. And for example, if you're in a conversation when someone goes ballistic, right, or wants to control things. Here's what I train my clients in,
Yeah.
and it comes from Kabbalah, the soul. I always say, and that's how I show up.
Mm.
See the person behind the title. See the person behind the name. I even train my 11-year-old daughter
Mm.
in this because there's some friction in school. See that soul. Why is that soul? What is challenging that soul? Why? What's going on? And
Yeah.
if you allow yourself to be challenged,
Mm.
be curious at what is this soul in my life to teach me?
Yes.
That's Kabbalah, and it's so deep and it's so real. When you allow yourself to borrow these beliefs that every soul is in your life for one reason. If you get challenged, amazing, a green flag for you to grow. and elevate.
Wow. That's really amazing. Wow. Ooh. And it is really, really great. I mean, to hear this. I mean, this compounding effect is so huge. So, uh, and when we're talking about this very deep, when we are having this deep, very deep discussion, um, and if we do not talk about the critics, it will be very unfair. So this might sounds contradictory, but it's actually not, but what so these so what I do is like on each discussion I try to bring some of the discussions which I find in either in an article or any groups. So from there one angle which I feel like some people say that emotions are kind of signals that we should lean into fully, even if they overwhelm us, and kind of instead of trying to regulate them. So, what will be your perspective on this?
My perspective is having lived through being a victim of my lower level emotions
Mhm.
is to learn to control your emotions, that you are not, and your emotion, remember, is a feeling in motion.
Mm,
And if we, and I get it, if there's a, I feel stressed, I feel frustrated. I get it because I've been there. I mean, I've been through this family breakup, and then suddenly I was pulled into court. I mean, yeah, for sure, I've been one of those who got extremely stressed, afraid, anxious. I've been there. But when if we have an open mind and growth mind that approach, then the feeling is just a feeling, and it's a green flag for you to heal something, whatever that is. That is my approach, and that's what I've been
yeah,
living through.
exactly. I got it. Mm,
And that's something emerging, like
mm,
and this is where it can go really deep without going deep with the time that we have.
mhm,
But that's for me, that was one of the most vulnerable things I had to face. Why did I give away power? Why was I a match for the person I loved at that point in time? And why? Why do I feel that way? But when we work through that, there's so much liberation. There's so much abundance coming out on the other side
mm,
because then you allow yourself to be free.
mm. Mm, amazing. So, uh, is there a danger like in over identifying with our emotions or the thoughts in the name of authenticity? What do you think?
Say, give me the question again.
Yeah. So, like as we are discussing, as I mentioned you about this contradictory part. So from that only, like, what do you think? I mean, will there be any danger uh, in over identifying with our emotions or thoughts, which we certainly called as authenticity?
Over identifying with our thoughts and feelings. Mm, I don't think there's any danger because then if I would say yes, then I would come from the kind of the ego mind, and I would not come from an abundance mind, of a mind of abundance.
Mm,
So it's just, if you are listening, I'm new to this. I'm so encouraged you to listen to more of Avik's podcast and Dr. Joe Dispenza, because everything just is. But when we give meaning, and here's so important, and I teach my daughter this, so this is, you can teach your children,
mhm,
only give meaning to things that makes you happy. Nothing else. There's nothing has meaning until you give it meaning. So why give meaning to something? that causes you stress, anxiety, and sad feelings. It just is. And when we allow ourselves to just see it as what it is without giving it any emotion, remember it's a feeling emotion, and we rise. And here's what's so important is, and I learned that from Dr. Joe Dispenza, is that the work is that it's mind over body. When we're not consciously aware enough, then oftentimes it's the body who controls what we do. But when we are so aware, is that really what I want? But my body say I feel ill. The other day I was like, oh, toothache. I have no toothache. I went to the dentist 2 days later. It was absolutely perfect. But the body's trying to protect you. The body's trying to protect you. The ego mind is protecting you. But that's why we want to be so curious about what we feel, so we get greater than the body. And when we become greater than the body, we allow in more light in our life.
Exactly.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, yes, and I appreciate like your nuance here. I mean, it's not about kind of uh denying our emotions or kind of drowning in them. So, it's all about creating a space where we can feel, we can learn, we can choose the response depth uh we want unconsciously. So, uh, definitely, definitely, yes,
And it starts with being curious about ourselves.
exactly,
Curiosity
yeah.
about, and one of my mentors said, build a deeper relationship with yourself. And it's a really amazing sentence. I've it become very close to who I am as well. Is that build a deeper relationship with yourself.
Exactly.
Wow. It's vulnerable. I can be the first one to say so vulnerable to see who I was. Ooh, right? It's so vulnerable. But boy, when you learn to love yourself with why you're vulnerable, and you say, I don't know, no longer want to be that person. I no longer want to entertain those lower level feelings. I no longer want to be afraid. I no longer want to give away power. Then you have already opened the portal for the next version of you who's waiting for you out there.
Exactly. Wow. Awesome. That's really awesome, I'd say. And so before we move, I'd definitely love to ask you any suggestion or advice you'd like to give it to the listeners today.
Mm. My most important advice, and this comes from my heart, everything I say comes from my heart. Keep investing in yourself. Keep building a deeper relationship with yourself, because then you invest in your future. And when you learn what belief systems, the paradigms, as though Bob Proctor was teaching, thought, feeling, and action, that you have been that you've been blindly inherited from your parents, and say, this is no longer how I want to feel, this is no longer how I want to be, and borrow, learn what else is there for you, what else beliefs you can hold. Then not only do you do yourself a favor, I think I don't even have the right word, but set yourself up for more success and allowing more abundance, but you actually heal generations, 7 generations in the past, and you create a new branch for yourself and for the 7 generations to come. So you becoming so curious about, why are you thinking those thoughts? What if you could think something differently? And then do that work, then your whole family tree will go take a very different path.
Exactly. Exactly true. Wow. Lovely. So, Camila, thank you so much for bringing your wisdom, honesty, and the practical tools to this conversation today. And uh, what I love most is like how you blend the real life vulnerability with the actionable steps that anyone can start using today, whether it's kind of remembering we are not our thoughts, practicing nervous system resets, or choosing the emotional regulation as a form of power and not the suppression. So, uh, for everyone who is listening, I invite you to try just one of the techniques that Camilla shared the next time. I mean, the next time you feel stressed and the stress is rising. So, notice that what shifts, and also remember that your thoughts are not your identity, rather, emotions are not your um, enemy, and your nervous system is always waiting for your guidance. So, Camilla, if someone wants to connect with you, what will be the great medium to connect?
Before I do that, let me just say that was a really beautiful ending that you just shared. Um, so people can connect with me in different ways. So on LinkedIn, my name Camilla Calberg. That's the only one. Should be maybe read through there, but it's very easy to find. My website, we have a newsletter where I share more tools a couple of times a week.
Mhm.
CamillaCalberg.com. And I also have videos on YouTube. This again, it's Camilla Calberg, and on Instagram, it's Camilla Calberg. So should be easy to find. And I have some freebies on our website for you to dive into. I have a 7 actually. I want to share this with you and everyone who's reaching out and listening. I am offering a 7-day belief challenge for free when you reach out to me. It's very, very powerful. And I drop z- over a 7-day period, small videos to help you step into that next level and take more control of your but your emotions and feelings and thoughts. So, yeah.
Amazing, amazing, lovely. So, dear listeners, what I'll do is I'll put all the details into the show notes for your easy reference. And until next time, keep nurturing your healthy mind and healthy life. So, thank you so much.